welcome to this episode. So I've been doing a nighttime and a half a day in working on the carburetor. Today we're gonna install all of that and get the engine to run a little bit longer. Ideally, I would like to get to the point where we can put some water cooling on the engine, and then really have it run for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, so we can afterwards check compression. Afterwards, also check if the cooling works, because with these older engines, they have they're cast iron. There can be a lot of rust buildup, and the rust ends up in the block and then blocks passageways and cooling, and then you have cooling issues. And I don't want to be confronted with that once the engine is in the car. So today is getting it to run a little bit longer and on the carburetor instead of dumping a lot of fuel into
and
the
hoping
barrel.
for the best.
Exactly.
All right.
So let's go.
Have fun.
Okay, I have found a little bit of an issue. I went over to look and change take the gasket off, which is extremely thick, crusty, ugly. I don't know what this, if this is original. I don't know why it's have to be so thick. Doesn't seem to get so hot here, so I don't really understand. But looking inside, and as you can see, there is so much crap in there. And sticking my finger in, this is what I'm getting out. It's flaky, it's rusty, there's water in there. I don't want to put the carburetor on top of this, so I'm gonna take the inlet manifold off and clean it, and then we will see. These are all fine. Oh wow. These even seem brass nuts because they're not corroded at all. At all. Wow. Okay, so let's go back. Yeah, I don't know what the condition is of the engine. I've read up on the interweb, and they are saying that cooling channels might be full of rust. Rings might be seized, valves might not work. It has compression on most of the cylinders, so that's a good thing. But I don't know about the cooling channels. I don't know if they're full of rust, if they're blocked in the back of the engine, and therefore I have to take the freeze plugs out and then try to flush the whole system. I don't know if it's ran on antifreeze, if they put a water in. And the same goes for this carburetor. They have fiddled with it, but since the halves of the carburetor weren't level or square, flat, I should say, they put 3 gaskets in, and then at the end the gaskets started leaking because they're shrunk. So they probably had issues getting it running correctly. I'm absolutely sure, but how good? How old is it? How much has it been used or abused more? I mean, these manifolds have been off because I see that there's different washers underneath the studs, the nuts, in many cases. So that is that is not. I'm not getting overexcited about that, because these are thick washers. You don't break them. So if you, on this amount, you sort of half the washers are gone, then that doesn't show or give me much confidence on the people who worked on this engine. So anyway, let's take this off. Let's look inside. Let's clean it all up. I still have to find an external gas canister. On the other hand, it should run on the fuel in the carb for at least a couple of minutes. I can see in these holes of the cooling, probably for the internal heater core, that they're pretty rusted and they're pretty closed. But they're, yeah, I don't know. And what we took out of the oil pan did not make me very happy either. I mean, we thought in the beginning that it was clean oil. The oil was very sludgy, very thick, very shimmery, and also there were an immense amount of bugs in the oil. And I don't know how they could only have gotten in via the filler cap, but that means that the filler cap would have been off the engine. Again, not a very good sign on the maintenance that this engine has had. And it was sold, and I can't blame the guy. He never had it running. It was sold to him as a as a strong runner. Oh man, it's always the same, isn't it? People selling stuff and making up stories. But let's not get too negative. It did start up. It just didn't run. And the spark was easily, I got spark very easily. We did have compression on some of the cylinders. Okay, now, this should be off. Okay, studs are all loose. Whoa, hold on. This cannot come off as is. No, we have to take it off with the exhaust manifold. What am I thinking? Okay, I won't delete this, but this is my mistake. You cannot get this off separately. So you have to take it off together. It's only 3 more bolts. My bad. But again, I could have seen it. And the evidence was there. Okay. I needed a new gasket anyway, I'm sure. Okay, let's do this then. In the okay, now I see it's coming off everywhere. Okay, let's at least make some space. Isn't that funny that a little job of getting a carburetor going ends up in more and more work on the side. One more work. Trying to get everything. This thing is probably pretty heavy. Huh, okay. Okay, well, there are They're full of water and rust. Oh my. Oh my, jeez. Okay. So this is what we're seeing. Okay, zoom. That's all water. There you can see the valves. Oh my. Okay. This exhaust, inlet, couple of exhausts. There's water in there as well, but you can see the valve. There's a lot of water and rust in there. And there's even more in here. Okay. Let's try and clean this out. Right, it's a flathead, so the valves are facing up here, so I can flush this without being too careful if valves are open. Well, I'll be careful, but still. Okay, let's get this engine off of the rug before we flush anything. Let's see. This does clean it. So Moses is going to make the gasket in between the two manifolds. There's a piece of the old, yeah. That should do it. Oh, you want the microphone? Oh, okay. You want it, I said.
Oh, I thought you said you have it. Uh-huh. All right, so it broke.
Yeah, let's do a hammer for Joe and cry.
It was almost done too. I just had to cut out this bit and this.
Well, in hindsight, I feel a bit guilty that I gave Mose this task because this gasket material was very thick and it was very brittle. It was high temperature gaskets, wonderful material, but it's very difficult to get through. And even with the chisels, you tend to break it, as is shown here. So she had to make a second one. And without asking me, she went over to the metal shears to cut out the outside before she started working on the inside, and she solved it in the end. But again, I should have given her a little bit more guidance because I had the simple task of cutting paper gaskets, which is so much easier and so much simpler. So although a wonderful material, it was very brittle and it was very difficult to make gaskets out of this material. But in the end, she did it. She finished the gasket, and it was absolutely perfect. I'm going to use that to make the spacers. So here we have some nice spacers, 5 millimeters thick. I have to just clean them up a little bit. Well, then it's just putting the in and outlet manifolds back together and on the block and tightening them with our beautiful brass nuts and our newly turned washers. I'm making one little bit gasket for the carburetor itself. Okay. Made it from the same material and put that on as well. Wonderful. And then we have this. Oh no, we have other bolts for that. Let's see. This goes like this, I believe. Look who came to visit. Cricket. He's big. Took him outside. Check it out. What a beautiful cricket this is. Look at it. And now you do like it on my hand. Oh, here we go. Wow, you can fly. Look at the beautiful wings. Hold on, you have some stuff. Yeah. Okay. That isn't it. Scheisse. Even like this. Door verzeggen. Niet goed? Nee. So after a whole day of, no, after a whole morning of making gaskets, making the wrong gasket, and we still had to put back the thick gasket in between the carburetor and the manifold, because this one is extremely thick and it lifts the carburetor higher so that the choke can function, because it goes all the way down, otherwise it hits the manifold. But I still want to get a little outside little gas tank so we can feed the carburetor and have the engine run a little bit longer so it can warm up. And then also I would like to know if the compression goes up, and also what I would like to do is change the oil again, flush the engine, and also hopefully it will, I can hook up an water cooling system so that we will have the engine cooling. Hopefully everything is, all the passageways are clear or clear enough, and then we can have the engine running for at least 15 minutes to half an hour. Okay, well, that was the engine. We put a lot of new gaskets in, a lot of work on the engine. Most made a few gaskets.
Two.
And
the same one twice.
Yeah, exactly, but I did the same. In the carburetor, the same thing. I had to do that twice. Also,
oh, really?
Mistake with cutting it, and it gets a very thin line, and I got through it. Anyway, it runs. We have to park it now because, but maybe we won't. The Beetle is calling, but he's not calling loud enough yet because this is so much more fun.
Yeah, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, and we wanna get this. We won't go back on the Beetle, but we want to get this running and also get it to heat up. So I found a little external tank, gas tank, I don't know where it is.
Somewhere
It's
over
over
the
there.
rainbow.
Little gas tank. I think it's might be a liter, 1.5 liter. I want to place that here in order to get the engine running for at least 15 minutes or half an hour to really warm it up. So that
Our poor neighbors.
and for that reason, we have to put some cooling onto it and see if it runs nice and if it cools as well, and have it run. And then I want to test the compression again, see if the compression has come up. I saw on the internet that these engines, or any engine, I guess, but especially cast iron, that they can have a lot of corrosion inside in the cooler, the jacket where the water is around the cylinders, and you can have a lot of buildup of rust. So much so that it's only the first 4 cylinders that it will cool the water, and it will not be able to get to the back cylinders. So
bad business.
Yeah, and you get overheating and issues. So you can clean them by taking out the freeze plugs, and they're on the other side. There's one on the back of the engine. See, that's a freeze plug. Those round plugs.
Okay.
You can take them out, and I think, because I saw there was some leaking seepage out of the back one, that I probably want to take them out anyway. But then I have to measure them and order new ones from the US, and they have them in brass, I think, or stainless steel. I don't know what. I guess brass is softer, so it's easier to tap them in. I don't know what the best material is. We'll see. I think the price is the same.
Okay.
But then we can really clean the engine from inside, and it would be wise to do that. Taking the freeze plug out, that means I cannot start it and run it for a long time, and that means I force myself to go back on the Beetle ourselves.
You force yourself to lose interest in this one.
It is, and I'm getting to like this engine. I love the sound, and of course we're going to change all of that, because when we will be ready with it, we're going to have more carbs. That's one. So we're going to have separate pipes coming from each cylinder, and also a separate exhaust.
We are?
Yeah, because we want to have an exhaust with 6 pipes going out of the car, and then going to a collector, and then going out the back.
Okay.
And so these 2 cast iron pieces will be gone anyway. We won't keep those. That's this engine. For now, it runs nice. And I'd love to know and find out what the compression is now, because it starts right up.
Yeah.
I don't think we're done with it yet. But thanks for watching.
Bye-bye. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye. It's too much fun.
And now what?
And now